DreamHack Open is brought to you by Chipotle, Corsair, Monster Energy, Nice Cactus, AT&T, and GGBet.
We've made it to the grand final here in Atlanta. It's going to be Sprout up against Heroic, and I could not be more excited to crown another champion here at the DreamHack Open. We're going to break down how exactly we got here and everything that we expect to see in the series in just a few moments. My name's Rich. I just want to give a quick thank you to everybody who made this possible, the folks over at Chipotle, Corsair, Monster Energy, Nice Cactus, and AT&T. And I also want to thank the lovely people.
Aww. This is sweet.
Potter, thank you.
Oh. You're welcome, Jacob. Rich.
I hate both of you. Just kidding.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I love. Thank you guys in Twitch chat. At least I have you. At least I have you guys.
Again. Okay, go on. All
right, yeah. Well, what was your favorite thing about the event, Pimp?
The favorite thing about this event is that in roughly 2 to 3 hours, I will probably never have to work with you again, and that's, that makes me so happy.
Oh.
How about
Can't be a crybaby live, dude. You can do it afterwards if you want to.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll talk to you in the green room. Potter, what was your favorite thing about the event?
I mean, it's got to be all the storylines coming into this event. We've had a lot of question marks, a lot of questions answered, I think. But, I mean, just looking at these two grand finalists, neither of these teams in Heroic or Sprout have any international notable trophies under their belt. I mean, just thinking back on the history of Sprout players, the history of these Heroic players, they've been to a lot of these lands. They fought and clawed into these semifinals and grand finals, but they haven't actually won. So I think both of these teams are somewhat winners in the fact of making it this far, and it's just going to be a matter of who shows up.
That was a good answer.
Yeah, it really was. It's a little bit better than yours. And you're probably wondering what my favorite part.
Yeah, what is it?
My favorite part was right before they fired me. They allowed me to eat all the Chipotle I could fit inside of my mouth. Hey guys, Rich here. I'm at the CSGO stage, but Chipotle gave me a couple of minutes to sneak away right now to actually look at everything that's going on at DreamHack Atlanta. So just one of the many things that's going on here is the Chipotle Challenger Series. You can come down if you're at DreamHack Atlanta, actually get to play some Fortnite, and if you win, you get free burritos for an entire year. Even the sign is delicious. Since we're doing this thing for Chipotle, may as well ask people if they like burritos. Do you like burritos? Of course you do. Hey, do you like burritos? Yeah, that's a yeah, that's a yeah. I finally made it to the Mecca, to El Dorado, a city paved with burritos, the Chipotle Player Lounge. And not only can you eat all the Chipotle your heart desires, a lot of Chipotle, you can also play some video games. You're probably asking yourself right now, Rich, how can my life be as good as yours? It's simple. Download the Chipotle app right now. Free guac, free burrito. Rack up points to earn more burrito goodness. So we're at the BYOC section here at DreamHack Atlanta. BYOC, burritos, you are cool. That's the wrong R. Delete that. Delete that from the video, please. I'm about to mosey on back to my desk and watch some CS, but I had a lot of fun getting to walk around DreamHack Atlanta, meeting some of you, getting to see everything that's going on, and eating Chipotle. Man, what What a whimsical guy. Now let's actually talk about everything that has happened to even lead up to this grand final. I want to talk about the 2 semis for anyone who's just tuning in to see who's going to get crowned champion. So let's actually start with that first semifinal of the day, Sprout versus Crazy Potter.
Yeah, we saw Sprout versus Crazy. We were actually kind of expecting Crazy to be the ones meeting up Heroic in these finals, but it was actually, in fact, Sprout who showed up. We've been talking about Sprout's ability to ramp up throughout the tournament. They showed exactly that in the semifinals earlier today, and each individual player of the Sprout team actually stepped up.
I would say so, and I think Sprout, you know, we kind of made the case coming into the game that they've been warming up throughout the tournament. We know how good they can be. We've seen some of the online results they've had. We saw them at Pro League playing very well against some of the best team within Europe, so we know they can play well. We just didn't see it at all on day one. Yesterday was much better, and what we saw today from Sprout was actually a level of play where I would say this is probably the best performance I've seen of any team so far in the tournament.
Now, I want to ask, Heroic has said it a bunch of times in their interviews. They said the only thing that they can go home with is the trophy, right? That is the only thing that they're here playing for in their mind. But when we look on the side of Sprout, what can they leave with? Do you think that it's the same case? Do you think that the only thing that's going to allow them to go home proud is taking home the trophy? Or do you think that they gain anything from the reps being on a LAN?
I mean, I think they absolutely gain a lot from the reps on being on the LAN, but what matters to both of these teams is absolutely that trophy. I don't think either of these teams are sitting up there wondering, even if we lose, it's going to be okay. Now, of course, I did say that they have a lot to learn, and they will learn even if they lose, but that's definitely not what these players are shooting for.
No, for sure not. And I think Sprout is right now in a position where they're like trying to duplicate what Heroic is doing right now, you know, trying to force their way into the top 10, top 15 scene within Counter-Strike. They're not there yet, but if they can beat Heroic today on a stage like this, they will, you know, probably be aligned in where they are and use the progress of breaking it in.
Well, we saw how Sprout was able to get here. Now let's actually see how Heroic was able to break into this grand final. We're looking at the second semifinal of the day where Heroic played up against VP. Pimp, what are the notable things that actually happened here?
I mean, that round right here we're seeing now from Borup, that was the game changer, right? At this point, they were down 9-6 on their own map pick of Vertigo. That could have gone south for them. That could have been a big problem. Luckily for them, Borup stepped up. He got this ace with the European, and after that, it seemed like Heroic was in pretty much control over that game. So I think what we saw in that semifinal was a Heroic playing okay. They were playing up to their own standards, not better than that, and we saw Virtus Pro playing much better than we saw on day one.
Definitely so, and once again, it was each member of Heroic stepping up one at a time. If it wasn't Borup, it was Stavin. If it wasn't Stavin, it was certainly Snappy. Snappy was all over the place, flanking, aggression. You just saw in that clip right there towards that A bomb site, he was consistently getting 3 or 4 kills every time Virtus Pro was coming up that A ramp. So Snappy was very instrumental in their victory over Virtus Pro.
All right, well, now that the dust is settled, let's take a look at the championship bracket as it stands. You can see those 2 semifinals that we already did play echoed there, but there's only one slot open. That is for our champions, Sprout, our Heroic. That is the next matchup, and let's start to actually do the work of talking about what we expect to happen here. You say that Heroic didn't necessarily play at their highest caliber. From what you saw, do you think it's enough to take down Sprout?
That's the problem for me. I think that will be enough to take down Sprout. I think Sprout potentially would have an extra gear. We saw them play well today, and dare I say it again, I think what we saw from Sprout in the semifinal today against Crazy was the best performance we've seen out of any team so far this tournament. So judging by that fact, sure thing, Sprout can give it to Heroic, but I think Heroic has an extra gear, and I think they individually, pair for pair, are just a much better team.
And also Heroic, no strangers to a grand final at a DreamHack Open.
They're definitely not. They just lost that DreamHack Rotterdam just a few weeks ago, and so I know that these players are wanting that trophy. They very well should have won that grand finals in Rotterdam, and I'm sure that's how they're feeling. And with Crazy out of their way, just Sprout standing in there, they're hungry.
Now, Pimp, I know alongside all of that pessimism and anger that's floating around
you're putting
in that beautiful little head of yours.
Okay.
I know there are also 3 reasons rattling around in there. Do you mind to share them with us? And
yes,
the others?
I wish I could do 3 reasons why we're never going to see this guy again, but I can't. But I can tell you the 3 reasons why Heroic should win this game. First of all, they came with one single goal. That was to win the entire tournament. We heard it over and over again in the interviews saying that we are here to win the tournament. It doesn't matter if we finish second. It doesn't matter if we finish third for that matter. We're going to be disappointed unless we win. Now, the second reason why Heroic should win is because they have the best player on the server, and that's Down right now. He's young, he's inexperienced, but he's hella good at Counter-Strike. Game after game, he's showing up, and he's playing some of the best Counter-Strike I've seen anyone at his level, and has hit ace playing at this state. Now, the third reason why Heroic should win is very simple. They got 5 Danes, and 5 Danes is better than 0.
All right, well, I just got word actually from production that alongside your 3 reasons, they also want you to say 3 nice things about the folks on the desk.
Okay.
That's production said that, not me.
Yeah, okay, well, I can tell you that your jacket today is nice. Your hair sucks. Potter, you have nice glasses.
Oh,
and yeah, you've got a cute smile sometimes as well.
Hey!
There you go. I can do that.
You told Potter she has a cute smile, and you told me I'm balding.
Well, yeah.
Burritos, you are cool.
Let's look at the vetoes. Let's knock this out
Stop
here.
setting yourself up for it, dude. Doesn't work out for you, huh?
Let's look at the vetoes. Let's see where we're going to be playing right now. Why did they zoom up to see my receding hairline?
Is it that bad? Could be worse. Could be worse. We got the vetoes coming in, Sprout versus Heroic. I would be highly surprised if we get to see Vertigo this time around. And there we go. Vertigo is out of the picture. Sprout do not want to play that. Heroic removing Dust 2. Well, it is the permaban. They don't want to play it, so it makes sense now for the picks. What are we going to see? We're looking at Inferno from Heroic, and we're looking at Train from Sprout. How do you feel about that, Christine?
I was hoping Heroic busts out that overpass. We know that Dennis mentioned that that he's kind of new to the Sprout lineup, and newer teams tend to struggle on that overpass, and Heroic is so good at that overpass. You see Sprout coming out and just banning it right afterwards. But Inferno, it's a good map. I'm just afraid that it's also a good map for Sprout.
It's crazy, right? Because I don't believe we've seen Inferno at this tournament so far. I don't think there's been one single Inferno game, has there? Oh, there's been one with Keto, yeah. One with Keto. Yep. One single Inferno game throughout an entire tournament. Normally that's the map that everyone wants to play, so I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out for Heroic. It's a ballsy pick in the sense that everyone knows how to play Inferno, so if Sprout is having a good day, then they can definitely take it to Heroic.
All right, well, now that we know the place where it's going to go down, let's actually look at how our teams were able to get here. Let's see their road to the grand final.
Weird miss shot there. Another one from Keto as well, your favorite. However, moving in to shut things down. A triple kill from him. Oh, I'll get the 4th as well. But Keto does steal it away.
It feels amazing. After a sloppy start in the tournament, we are really happy that we are now in the final. Yeah, I think if you're going into final, you always have to put a lot of confidence into the game.
This is so awkward. There's players literally standing next to each other, so blind they didn't even realize it, but it falls down to just one. Emmy somehow survives long enough to get the kill.
We want to finally take the trophy back to Germany after we lost, I don't know, the last 3 finals. So it's going to be time to bring it back to Germany.
Passed up onto the A site. Dennis comes up empty-handed with the spray, but his teammate Keto is there with the trade back from default. Fierce with the support towards Palace.
They'll have a free first duel. Innocent, will he scope in? He will not, and then Borg will be able to win the duel. And the next one. 3rd one coming in. Borg taking justice.
Feels good. I mean, as I said in the earlier interview, we're here to take the victory. Everything else will be a disappointment for us. So we still have 1 match left, and hopefully we can win it.
Losses that kind of scar him. Bag here, going to be racking up the kills here. That's going to be an easy quad from him.
Yeah, I feel confident. I don't feel like we've played our best yet, so I definitely feel confident that we can win the final.
It's Sprout time. It's our trophy.
But before even getting to this event, so many people thought we were going to see Heroic and Crazy be the 2 teams to actually make it to this grand final. Sprout's already made 1 upset. Are they going to be able to make 1 more? Are they going to be able to be the champions of the DreamHack Open? We're about to find out, but first, let's run down the line. Let's take a look at their squad. I know Keto was the one who was really jumping off the page for you earlier. You've already talked at length, Pimp, about what you expect from this player, but who else on the team are you looking at here?
Well, I'm looking at all of them, because I think that's going to be the win condition, the big one for Sprout. They need every single player stepping up in this final. They can't rely on one guy. They can't rely on Keto. He's a great player, sure, and he's been playing, a great tournament so far, but him alone is not going to be enough to go up against Heroic. I'm looking towards Dennis, I'm looking towards Spitty, I'm looking towards Sirsen with the AWP, I'm looking towards all of them. This guy here on your screen, right, we talked about it over and over again, he used to be the biggest talent within the German scene, at least one of them. A lot of people thought that he would go on, to play for Mouse Sports, play on some international level and get up there, but as of recently, it hasn't really been looking good for Speedy, let's be honest. So maybe this could be his turnaround. Maybe this could be the tournament. Maybe this could be the game that is going to make him believe in his own abilities once again.
I think he has slowly started ramping up towards that. I mentioned earlier today that Speedy had some amazing 1 versus 3 clutch scenarios. That's that experience. That's the edge within the server, understanding where your enemies are going to be, process of elimination, simple math, and then just boom, winning the rounds. And Speedy showed us glimpses of that earlier on in the tournament. It's just really a matter of how Jacob said, every single player stepping up, making it easier for yourself because your mates are right there to back you up.
Well, I mean, when we've been talking about Sprout, it's been mostly compliments for this squad, right? The idea that they have been able to play at a level that's been higher later in the tournament. It seems like they have momentum on their side, which is obviously something important going into the grand final. Do you think that Speedy is, in particular, one of the factors that's led to that?
Not necessarily.
It's certainly been Sturson.
Yeah, I would say so too. The problem with Sprout is that you're saying that we are giving them a lot of praise, and I agree with you, but that's only because we have so low expectations for them. Coming into this tournament, I thought they would struggle getting into the semifinal. I definitely didn't think they would go into the final, and here they are. And I think every single player from this lineup thus far in this tournament have had a good, game, have had a good map. We've seen Keto go off, we've seen Sturson go off, we've seen Speedy had a good showing as well. Dennis even on Mirage in the semifinal was playing well, so they know they can do it. The problem is I haven't seen them all click at the same time, and they need that against Heroic.
So they've already surpassed your low expectations.
Surely.
Which is, as much as that does sound like something that is negative in all seriousness, it is something to note here, because when I ask you this, I think I know what you're going to say. Has Heroic lived up to your expectations of the team?
Sure, and I mean, the only thing they can do in order to live up to the expectations is winning every single game they play, and so far they've done that. They haven't been close to losing a map. They won, the 2 first best of 1s on day 1. Now they won a best of 3 series against Virtus Pro 2-0 as well, so they haven't dropped a map. So yes, you can only say Heroic has lived up to the expectations. That being said though, I know they can play much better than they did in that semi-final, and as said, if they play the level they get against Virtus Pro in this final against the Sprout that is just playing a tiny bit better, let's say that, than in the other semi-final, then Heroic could very well lose this final.
Do you think that that's the case as well? If we see Heroic come out, not even necessarily flat-footed, but just at the same intensity level that we saw earlier in the semifinal, do you think that there's a real chance that they do go down to Sprout?
Yeah, there's always that chance, right? I mean, and Sprout, once again, they are that dark horse. Jacob, you said it on day 1. Maybe Sprout could surprise us, and they certainly have, so it's been a pleasant surprise. But Heroic, our expectations are just a little bit different. We expect Heroic to be one of the better teams here at this tournament. So, I don't think that I'm expecting them to lose this grand final versus Sprout. I think this is exactly what they've been waiting for. And I'm looking over towards Esatag. We had that interview with him earlier today, and we actually haven't spoken about this player very much this weekend, but it's because all of his teammates are just constantly stepping up, right? But Esatag is the player that's in the background. He's the guy behind the scenes. He's making sure all the pieces kind of fall together, and it's his ability to constantly play to the high percentage plays. He's always playing for his team, and it really helps out players like Stavin and Borup shine.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you just think about what they were able to do even in the last Open, and the fact that you come into this one knowing the situation with Crazy, they were so far and above the favorites, but we need to throw 2 of these players into a head-to-head matchup so we can actually start assessing how these teams do weigh up against each other pound for pound.
Yeah, so the players that we have for this head-to-head is going to be Borup and it's going to be Keto. Jacob mentioned it a little bit. This Borup player is one of the young stars. Him and Stavin, this duo on this Heroic lineup, they've been spectacular throughout this weekend. They've been spectacular for the past couple of months. So Borup, we saw his ace on that Vertigo earlier. That's the kind of impact that Borup can all of a sudden bring for this Heroic lineup. So they definitely need him to step up. And Keto, we've spoken about his aggression all weekend long, his ability to find the openings, find the holes against his opponents, and really make them uncomfortable. And I think if Keto brings that sort of edge, brings that aggression in this series, it's going to make things tough for Heroic.
He's been the biggest surprise of the tournament so far. I knew he was a great player. I knew he had it in him. We know what he can do, but the fact that he's played so consistently well for Sprout, even when they were struggling, that tells a lot about what kind of abilities this kid has. I think right now he's by far, to me, the guy that has exceeded my expectations the most. Question is, can he do it against a team of Heroic's caliber in a grand final on a stage? Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah, very important to keep in mind. And I mean, if you were just watching right now, folks, for the grand final, I can't even emphasize how much Keto has been brought up on this desk, especially by Pim. just constantly praising this player. I mean, it's a very important thing to keep in the back of your mind, and also it's an important thing to make sure that you vote in the chat. We want to hear who you think is going to be able to take this grand final. Is it going to be Heroic, or is it going to be Sprout? We want to hear what you guys say before we actually make our predictions on the desk. But this one is just about ready to get started. I'm very excited to see. Do you think that Heroic, coming into this, expected to play Sprout, do you think that they have all of the prep work that they need for this team?
I think so. You heard Esatag speaking about it in the interview. These players have played versus each other pretty often. Just a few weeks ago in EPL, Heroic just barely beat them. Sprout just barely lost that matchup. And I think it was a mixture of a little bit overperformance from Sprout at that LAN in particular, and Heroic being a little rusty, just jet lag coming out of Rotterdam and what have you. But yeah, they're definitely very used to each other. These players know each other. They're very familiar with each other. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we started to talk about some of those win conditions just a little bit. And before we actually do jump into this matchup and make our predictions, I want to kind of know what style you want to see come out of Sprout right now.
It's a good question. I think where they have been looking the best so far in this tournament is when they've played together as a team, is when they have been, you know, a cohesive unit that has moved around the map and made sure to play off each other, with each other, and in particular the trade frag, you know, they gotta make sure there's always, you know, this system of two guys running together so they can always get the trade frag. Problem is they're facing a team that is much better in that department in Heroic, so if you wanna do something out of the ordinary, maybe if you wanna surprise Heroic, you gotta start out aggressive, you gotta start out, you know, in a way that Heroic may not expect, maybe play a little bit more on the individuals, see if you can set Keto up to do some good stuff in the beginning, give him some confidence, and maybe, you know, roll off that impression. I'm having a hard time seeing exactly where it is they can win it out. Looking at the AWP players, Cadian here on your screen, well, he's having a decent tournament for Heroic. He's not been the best playing Cadian that I've ever seen, but he's a guy that always steps up to the occasion, right? So you'd expect Surson on the other side to go ham. Maybe that's the department where they can win out a little bit and gain some momentum. But apart from that, I'm having a rough time seeing where exactly it is Sprout can outmatch Heroic.
I think it is important, though, that you do bring up Searson again, right? Because when we started to ask who that player was that maybe did allow Sprout to even progress to this point, Searson was one of the first names that was brought up.
He definitely was, and it's the impact that he brings with that AWP. We're starting off this series on Train, and Train was a map that Searson looked very comfortable on. He was just running around from the inner to the outside yard, and his mobility on that defending side on Train was very impressive, and the stats certainly backed him up. I think Searson is absolutely a vital part of the Sprout lineup. I have an interesting fact that Risky told me actually in the back. Speedy is the in-game leader, and I know we've been kind of looking at the players and their positions and the seating arrangements, but Speedy refuses to sit in the middle because his teammates in the middle are always shaking and moving around, and it's distracting for him, so he's moved all the way to the end. I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah?
That is very interesting and stupid.
Did you?
I just like...
You said the same thing about me a few times.
Well, I mean, sometimes, I don't know what it is, but I feel like if you're an in-game leader, sure, it must be reason for why he's not sitting in the middle, and it's a fun little gimmick. But I would love to see Speedy in that role, right? Take charge over the team. Make sure that you're the macho guy who tells his teammates to sit still if that's a problem for him.
All right, well, you know, the thing that I kind of want to take a look at right now is your predictions. So we're going to start with Potter. Potter, who do you think is going to be able to take this grand final?
I'm going to go with Heroic. I really appreciate the effort, the hunger coming out of these young players, and I've been a fan of Heroic since their showing in Rotterdam. I'm going Heroic all the way here.
He's a true fan.
I'm a true fan, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on board. I can't see Heroic not winning this matchup. I can't see them not winning this title. I can't see them not winning this tournament. It could go to a third, and I think that would be a success criteria for Sprout. You know, make sure they get inside the game, make sure they have a feeling that they can play against a team like Heroic, get a map off them, play competitive Counter-Strike. But realistically speaking, I would be surprised if this is not gonna be a 2-0.
I'm going to go with Heroic as well.
Oh, you're smart today. I like it.
You contradict yourself so often.
So much.
Yeah. Today I've been a genius in your eyes and an absolute failure.
Well,
you remind me of quite a few people in my life. Yeah. That's what I've been saying the whole time, right? But now we want to look at the absolute rock stars here in Twitch chat who have not been wrong yet today. 57% think Sprout's going to take it. So going against the desk right now, looks like we're out of a job.
I would love if Sprout, and I have to be careful with what I'm saying here, considering I am a Danish guy, but I would love to see Sprout win this tournament. I would love to see another team enter that, you know, bubble of teams that potentially can break through into the next level. Right now we have Heroic, we have a few others out there that are on the brink of getting in there, but if we could add Sprout to that list, that would be a nice addition. So I wouldn't necessarily mind Heroic losing, but I'm just having a hard time seeing it because Heroic right now is such just a better team, I feel.
Well, I think it's reasonable, too, to just say seeing an upset like that would be exciting. Because I think going into this, we do consider it to be a relatively large upset if Sprout is able to take it. But they've already pulled down one, Potter.
They definitely have, and I mean, Sprout's got to be satisfied. We heard it in the interviews with Dennis. He said, we're looking at the playoffs. Then all of a sudden the interview changed, and he's like, oh, we've made it here. I guess we're looking at that semifinals. I guess we're looking towards that grand final. So certainly these are two different caliber of teams as far as their expectations and what they thought they were going to be faced up against coming into Atlanta. But yeah, I mean, Sprout, they've got to be happy with the progress that they've made thus far.
All right, well, we got to ask the casters as well. Before we get this grand final started, are you in agreement with Twitch chat or the desk?
Yeah, well, I guess you're kind of in agreement with the other two people on the desk, but we are in agreement with them, I would say.
Pimp is usually right, and in this scenario he's right as well. He's Danish, so he can't really be wrong.
Just the way it goes. Can't handle it.
Quite the five-head on the desk, quite the five-head. All right, so you guys don't agree with Twitch chat?
No, unfortunately not
really.
this time. Well, we agree with a percentage of them.
Get him! All right, you're going to have all the time you want to just tear them apart, Twitch chat, because we're jumping in the grand final right now. You boys have fun.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're going to be jumping in. Of course, half of our desk may be a little bit biased in this regard, you know.
Just a little bit.
The Dane. I know that you obviously have a lot of information to spew when it comes to Heroic, so should I just let you wheel off on one for a little bit? You ready for this?
I can tell you whatever you want, Tom. Like, what do you need?
Ooh, what do I need to know? What do I need to know?
I can tell you that actually all 5 Heroic players do change their underwear. It doesn't matter if it goes well or goes bad, so they have that advantage in Rich.
To be fair, I think most people do that just in general. As a rule of thumb, I think that I'm sure there's some people out there who maybe have some lucky socks or something like that, but they probably save them for the day they need them, not just continuously wear them for a whole event. But you know, at least this one's only a few days, and he'll be able to change after this event.
Borup does have the longest hair of the pro players in the Danish Counter-Strike scene.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I won't lie. You know, like we were talking about, it could be worse with receding hairlines. You know, I think I've already hit that maximum, but yeah, well. Either way, I think like looking towards the match itself, I think this is going to be an interesting one. I think the AWP battle is definitely going to be something that could actually change the match a little bit, because in the first like couple of days we did, well, obviously not the second day, but we saw a bit from Cadian with the aggression he had on a map like Overpass. He was able to be quite successful, but definitely got away with a few things, and even himself said that he believes that some of the mistakes he was making could have cost them rounds and maybe even cost them the map initially. And then on the other side, Searson, first 2 days fairly quiet, didn't really see too much. Today he was the best player in the server.
For sure. Also, one thing that I think we should highlight as well that isn't being talked about so much is the coaching matchup, because we have two really, really good coaches behind these two teams. Lomme, of course, the Danish guy who was one of these players that everyone wanted to play with, but maybe at some point struggled a little bit individually, has switched over to coaching now and is doing phenomenal work as a coach. And on the other side, NK, also really, really an underrated coach in my opinion, has a lot of good strategical, analytical knowledge. So these two guys, of course, Lomme here in the picture, are two guys that I think is going to have way more impact than maybe people who don't know that much about CS coming into this matchup, because they are constantly evaluating, constantly talking to the players. You can see it right now, just before the game goes live, going over the game plan again and again and again. And that's how you should use your coach. The coach should be the guy that has everything under control and tells the in-game leader and the players exactly what to do.
Well, that's actually something we were sort of speaking about with actually the management from Sprout, is that like they've sort of set up their team at the moment to have like Faven, Searson, and Keto as the 3 players that are going to be making the moves. They've set up a lot of their actual positioning as well to put a little bit of experience with some young talent. And also the fact that a lot of the calling, okay, it's Spiddy doing the majority, but then you see that Dennis will chime in. And it's not necessarily so much that those players are the ones that need to lead in the fragging department anymore, which in the past, in some of the rosters that they were on, that was something that they were there for. Like Dennis, for a long time, was someone who was expected to frag very heavily with
also something that you can do if you have, like, let's say a young fragging player and an older, more experienced player, is that you can have the older player actually calling and communicating to some extent for the younger guy. So the younger guy does not have to have all the pressure of communicating and constantly thinking about the rotations. You can give him the freedom, let's say give Searson or give Faven or give Keto the freedom of just playing their own game, just thinking about only what is in front of them, only what is in their crosshair. And I think that's a really, really clever move from the Sprout guys. They're setting the main stars of the team up for success, and I really like that.
Yeah, and he spoke about as well how they give them the positions they want. They set them up basically with like all the correct nades and whatever, just to enable them as much as humanly possible. And I think that is going to be important for them in this match as well. Like, of course, you're going to need the experience of someone like Dennis with a ludicrous amount of majors played. Like, obviously, so many different LAN events that he's been to in comparison to, say, like Keto. He probably has more than them combined. Like, in all honesty, he's been around for a long time now.
He has more majors, like attendance in majors combined than everyone else in this game. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like,
it is kind of crazy when you
if
put
you
it like
count
that.
some of the majors that Cadian was a commentator at, then maybe we'll go up there. But
Okay.
I think that's the only scenario.
But yeah, I think that's going to be what Sprout needs, because they definitely are the underdog going into this one. Like, even if you just talk about firepower, like the individuals within the roster, I definitely saw it when Barup was added. I was like, yeah, especially because I was a little bit biased just because I get on with Nato. But he has performed so well since being in this roster, like hugely impactful rounds in the semi-final as well. It's down. He's been playing well this tournament, but there's definitely another gear, and that's something that also scares me. Like, he's a 17-year-old. He's performed well, but can he hit those heights? Either way, map 1 is going to be getting underway in just a moment as we will head into Train, and it is going to be that CT side start for Heroic. Sprout looking to try and set the pace.
Here we go. Heroic, the boys in blue. Sprout and Germans on the yellow side for now, but Keto, perhaps the strongest aim player, winning that aim duel against Borup. Strongest aimer for the CT side of Heroic. So that tells a good tale for Sprout in the beginning of the game. We're now looking at this B bomb site for an execute.
Well, yeah, this has just been a pure gamble out from Heroic. They finally found out the information that was needed from them. Down is going to run through the smoke, but is met by the P250 of Spitty. Already giving them a 2-man advantage, but more importantly, they've taken so much control. They've managed to get right up into the faces of this CT side. Cadian just waiting patiently. Will be able to trade one back at least, and Keto keeping it in their favor. I don't really see a way that the CTs get back into this. Sure, they have a kit, but there's not that much time to play with. They need to find these kills very quickly. And already with Snappy going down, it leaves Cadian needing an ace if he's going to be able to take this pistol. Sprout, they've started strong, and all he can do is fall back and save the Kevlar and the kit.
Of course, the statistics are a little bit skewed because Heroic have only played 3 times on this map, but they won 65%, almost 66% of their rounds on Train on the CT side. So they definitely need to get it rolling here, starting CT on Train, if they want to have any hope of kind of taking the victory here. I think this has the potential of being a really, really good Counter-Strike game and also going all 3 maps with Nuke as the third and decider. But it all starts here on Train.
Well, the other thing as well is if you actually look at the teams that Heroic have beaten over the last month or so, it's Na'Vi and Vitality, and then the only loss they have is to Avantgarde.
Pretty good team.
So yeah, you would definitely put them up there with the best of them. So this definitely isn't going to be a walk in the park, and Hashtag's actually already going to kick things off with the CZ, managing to give the man advantage over to the CT side, who of course have fully invested into this second round.
I think actually Snappy went in and did a little bait for his attack in that situation. Make sure he got the frag. Dennis makes his way back line. And now so much map control in the hands of the T's, but Cadian with the scout is deadly. 3v3 now. Backline wrap for Surson, I think is the name of the game, and then the B play, but he's trying to sell the fake and sell some information about going on towards this A bomb side, and then the 2 remaining players will go into B, but look at that, Surson. Cadian has no idea whatsoever. He's just walking in here.
Oh, the timing should be absolutely perfect. Barup has no idea that there's a man behind him. Even going to get that nice kill as well, and it leaves just 1 man on 1 HP in the corner. Searson individually turning this round back into their favor, and knowing that Cadian's just around this corner, he's going to go hunting. The AWPer making so much cash for himself as well. Hashtag just about gets the kill. Gives them an opportunity here. The thing is, they kind of need Cadian to come back around, as he's the one with the kit if they are going to have time to do anything.
S-Attack has a smoke. It's going to drop that down, potentially. Flash goes out. Surson. Okay, one and now. Yeah, S-Attack doesn't really have a good weapon, so there's no reason to kind of go and save it, but still. doesn't get anything out of the situation. The sad thing in this one for Heroic is that they could have done nothing to prevent that. Like, Cadian was holding so many different angles, and the timing was unfortunate for him. This might tilt Borup a little bit, but when he looks back over the demo, they'll see that there was nothing they could have done with the setup that they had. And that was just perfect timing for Sursson there.
And unfortunately for the CT side, they can't look at the demo midway through the map. So
that would be pretty bad. But no, all the teams at this tournament are at such a high level that they'll go through and have review of every single game that they lost and also the ones that they won when they come home from this tournament.
Well, it may not help them in this grand final, but it might help them in the future.
That's also a big focus in general of these DreamHack Open tournaments. I feel like they're so important for the scene and for these kind of teams. Keto just racking up frags right now. Spitty trying his best as well and will take Snappy down in the end. 2v5, but surely no hope here for Stown and Cadian. Cadian does have the taser.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he managed to get anybody, but there is a little bit of aggression coming right around the corner. There you go.
There we go.
Zeus kill comes in. It'll be a Mac 10 picked up, which has much more of a chance to actually make him some cash.
I always like the Zeus kill. Actually, this is the third round, and we had one knife kill and one Zeus kill already. That's pretty good, Tom.
It's not bad.
I'll take that.
I'm hoping we'll get some kills with actual weaponry, and well, hey, that's an SG save.
That's
for
perfect.
Down. If he can just get back and save, I don't think the T's are even going to go hunting too much.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't in this situation because they have 3 weapons. They have to bring it into the next round.
The other thing as well is they would have to run across the bomb site, which probably just died to the bomb at that point. But hey, a little bit of a save. I'm hoping that Mac 10 won't be used. Like, you do see teams a lot of the time, like they have this bonus weapon. They go, well, you know, we could. And maybe throw, I guess you could put it in pop. But other than that, I don't want to be seeing this weapon brought forward.
Definitely not. And as we say that, looks like STAG will play. So let's wait and see. Maybe he does something good with it. It's not a completely terrible weapon, but definitely not the best in this situation.
I think he is going to be going into pop, though. Actually, around electric.
There we go.
Initially.
There we go, Tom.
This is the only position that we want to see this gun in. Anywhere else, and
well, you can actually play it on Ivy if you play really close range, but that wouldn't really make a lot of sense in that way that they set up on that A-bomb side.
They're going to go through the smoke. The T's right on the edge of it. Just waiting for it to fade. Cadian is going to have that AWP on the other side, but Searson has bought one of his own. Both
Deep
teams
flash.
Investing a lot of their money into this round. It's going to be the tank for Cadian. It gives Borup the chance, but he's only going to get the one. Lots of damage done, and Dennis has found an entry elsewhere as the rotation is attempted by STAG. That Mac 10 is going to have no part in this round. Look at this from Keto, sneaking his way around the back already, knowing there's at least another man there. Cadian has everything to do, goes for the peek and does manage one. Still surviving within the site as the bomb ticks. Keto's going to be looking for it, but can't find the shot. And actually, Heroic are going to steal that round away. First onto the board for the Danes.
The frag onto Keto from Cadian, that was so huge. Such an important frag coming in. And actually, I saw Cadian did a tweet just after he finished the semi-final. He's been having headaches and migraines and all that stuff. So he's not really in the best position to be throwing out big plays like this, but what a way for him to start the grand final. Nice little AWP 2-piece in the end. Double AWP setup now on the CT side. Stown will be ruling it. T side will have the AWP on Sursson, but Dennis just with a deagle. And then once again, we see the setup. Dennis and Speedy with the terrible weaponry. Keto, Faven, and Sursson with exactly what they want.
Yeah, they're pretty much the way it should be. You want your star players to have the weaponry available to them. And this time STAG is even going to have a rifle as well.
You say that, but then again, I've seen some Na'Vi rounds where Simple gets the deagle.
Yeah, but I feel like Na'Vi are like...
Yeah, I know.
the exception that proves the rule. They don't necessarily abide by the rules, and normally it's proven why. STAG going to be forced out. Jump down doesn't come in, and he's able to just regain the position without really any trouble at all. You normally expect at least an attempt to take that position away. And with the T's looking like they're actually setting up for some sort of A-take.
Oh, that was so nice. Mind games in Pop Dog right now. Very nicely done by Sprout. will take the position, force the smoke out. Smoke forced out with 0.55 left. Very nicely done in the pop area. Now he'll have to have someone else smoke it. Attack under pressure now.
Wow, does he manage to get 2 kills there? Blinded off initially. His teammate falls, but he's still standing. And he's actually caught a 3rd kill, even dropping the bomb to the deck. Leaving just Keto and Faven to try and turn this back, and it's not looking possible. It's left onto the young German to try and turn the tide. He hits the 2nd headshot with the SG looking for more, but Barat stops him before it gets dangerous. There is going to be a 2nd for Heroic, and a lot of it comes back off the aggression of Estag, but I don't know how he got away with that much.
He's just able to do these kind of things. Like, I don't know how it happens, but he does it so consistently. That's why also a lot of people are super hype about Stown and Board because they are so young and still very good. But I still feel like at this very moment, also in this tournament in general, Ezatag is the best player all around for Heroic and has been for a while, in my opinion. Maybe in a year or 2, Stown and Board will completely like have him down and out. But right now, I feel like this is the best player on the server that we just saw there.
Well, Stown with that 2nd drill. Has to be careful peeking in Keto with the Deagle. He always gets 1. They're actually going to retrieve that orb for Searson as well. Not a weapon you want to see falling into enemy hands. Gets the peek out onto Snappy as well. Even just as an eco round, they're making things costly for Heroic. Definitely not been the clean start for the Danes. Cadian has a decent chance at the refrag. Although I believe Searson should be in some sort of cover here, so I'm not going to be able to kill him off just yet. And with the bomb planted, this is already a hugely successful round for Sprout. It's just what more they can do.
There's so much utility on the CT side right now, and Searson's position's given away. Cadian, who gets the first edge, does come down to the German. On board with the frag onto Speedy, smoke on the bomb. Attack jumping in, Searson all alone now.
Oh, the nade almost finishes him off. Only 4 HP to try and make this clutch work. Has to hit the instant shot, and the bomb's already going to be defused. There's nothing he can do in this scenario. Probably just wants to keep the orb, but even that might not be possible. Gets the kill, and, well, the other will be retrieved at least for the CT side. But hey, just a couple of deags, 4 kills, and a bomb plant. That is a massively successful round for Sprout.
Oh, for sure. Very nicely done by Searson in that scenario. Gets a lot of economic damage in to Heroic, and even though they won a couple of rounds in a row, we see the money is not perfect for the Danes. On the German side, of course, also, apart from Searson forcing almost all the way up. It's going to be an interesting one. Triple stack on lower B for Heroic and Faven on the back of a flash assist. Gets a double opening. Okay.
This couldn't have gone worse for Heroic. They had a strategy there, but a single flashbang ruining it. Stout's going to get caught as well. How does he get that kill? Gets finished off in the end, but even still, that's surprising. And now it's left on Cadian. The newest member within the roster with a hell of a lot to do, and I'm not sure if he has the stones to do it. Still 3 players remaining, bomb down on the other side of the map, and Sprout, well, with the amount of damage they did in the previous round, you can see how much is left for the economy of the Danish side, just looking to try and hold on to this gun. Seeming fairly unlikely.
He's gonna try though. Cadian has had one of his worst performances in that semi-final game before. But as they said on the desk, he always rises to the occasion.
I wonder who's going to turn. There you go. I was about to say, one of them had to die.
Yeah.
It's going to be Cadian to at least get to hold on to that AWP, but in reality, even still, the money for Heroic is so bad. Losing 4 players to just pistols alone, and then I don't know what happened at the beginning of that round.
No,
like the fact that a single flashbang can stop 3 players seems mental.
I think what they wanted to do in this situation, Heroic, is that they had the one guy to come in from Pop Dog and then the triple pressure from lower. So they were gambling on those guys pushing at the same time, and whoever got the most attention, the other guys would kind of take it off and backstab them. But the early flashbang, I don't know how or why they threw that. That was actually really nice. Snappy also taking damage from the wall. But that early flashbang completely saved Sprout in that sense, and also gave the chance for Faven to get that double. So Heroic trying to do something very aggressive, shot completely down. I hope it doesn't like make them think more about the aggressive plays coming into this game, because aggressive CT plays like that could be what saves them in the end. S-attack, definitely
just
thinking
look at
about
buy.
the aggressive play.
Look at the buy. It's 4 MP9s alongside an AWP. This is...
It's a perfect buy, Tom.
It definitely isn't. But it might work. That's the thing. Crazier things have happened.
So much damage.
Oh, look at the nade damage already. They've done so much. This will be perfect for the MP9. Still, they've got 2 openers, but Snappy within the site. Not had the best start to this match. He's going to get caught by Dennis as well, and all that damage seems to be for nothing at the moment. Rotation coming in from Stown is so far behind, and it seems like Cadian, again, is in a position where he just has to try and hold on to this AWP. But they do have to be careful with the amount they're getting aggressive here. There is still a kit. It doesn't look like the CTs are going to go for it.
No, they're not going to go for it here, but that was very, very close. I feel like if a couple of the Heroic players had held angles maybe 10 seconds longer, this round would have been completely different because of the low HP, thanks to the grenade damage in this round.
Well, I think either that or if, rather than doing a lot of damage to everyone, if they just like singled out a player or two and managed to get a kill with it, then it really could have been a different story. We probably would have seen this clutch attempted. Instead, though, Sprout live to fight another day. 5 rounds already on the T side of Train, which of course is their map choice, but even still, this is a map that we've seen Heroic beat some pretty decent, dominant teams on. So the fact that this start has gone so well for the German side is definitely good looking forward in this series.
As said before, Heroic, they win around 66% of the round on the CT side. It's not looking like that right now. 2 weapons save the remaining part of the team on full eco.
Well, they need to win out from here.
Yeah.
To keep that stack going.
That's some quick maths.
There we go. Okay.
Smoke.
Unfortunately, he walked past Faven, who again is just looking to pad those stats. Runs out of bullets, though.
That's an AK, and they can hold the B bomb site with that. It all comes down to Cadian now.
Well, he hasn't been in the position to use this AWP for the last few rounds. It's mainly just been saves coming
Perfect
in.
flash.
He's well placed, though, and already he's going to be able to take down one. He's wary of players pushing him from behind, but the remaining 2 are both over towards Ivy. S-Tac rotating in, of course, no armor for him, so he can't afford to really take a bullet, but he drops the bomb instead. And now it's left all on to Searson. 1 versus 2. His trusty weapon in hand, lots of time to play with, so he doesn't need to rush the situation. But I like this from the CT side. They're doubling up, they're grouping together. Looking to try and come in from behind. I think that could be absolutely perfect for S-Tag, and while a big round from him, a big round to be stolen by Heroic.
And once again, thanks to the aggressive CT play. And that's what I've been saying about Heroic. Like, they can't get afraid because just 1 round doesn't work. And it seems like they didn't give anything about like that 1 aggressive peak not working out. Aggressiveness once again from Stown, pushing in, getting the opening. Most importantly of all, just causing confusion in the ranks of Sprout. And now they have the full buy going. They have the SG. The T side of Sprout lacking utility, using all of their cash.
A chance for either side to look to break back economy-wise. It has been a somewhat backwards and forwards match so far. No real dominant force, and Searson once again is looking for that opener. He's got to be careful.
This is so nice. Cadian is right now just baiting for his teammate, and then Stown can be led through the smoke. With a nice flashbang timing, he'll get 1 for 1. Dennis was actually so quick with the anti-flash position that he didn't get flash. So could have been 2 for 1. But I like the fact that they keep doing these aggressive plays. They're showing no respect to the opposition.
Well, that is the thing. It is a high-risk plays, though.
Yeah.
And in a lot of these scenarios, like, okay, sure, there's been moments where they've come out on top or gained a weapon, or in a round where they do have pieces missing, but you have to feel like eventually Sprout is going to punish them. This time, Barup has got away with it again, but it is Keto to find that trade, and with the CT side limited on how much utility they have left.
But again, I feel like you're playing someone else on their good map, a map that you don't play a lot. They're on the T side. Your main objective as CT is to not let them run their game. And that's exactly what Heroic are doing with all these aggressive plays. And then at some point, yes, Sprout will react, but that means Sprout moving away from their original game plan. And that's where Heroic will be very happy. If they can do that, if that's their success, that's fine.
Lots of noise being made, and Snappy in a great position to drop this bomb. There's only 10 seconds left. They have to run for this plant. If he can just kill off the remaining man of Keto, this round is over, but he will be able to get the bomb down. Orp in hand, misses the shot, however, gets another chance. The Snappy can't close it, but he does kill off Dennis instead, and then Cadian can finish both. It's another round onto the board for Heroic. A bomb plant at least for Sprout, but their finances are still going to be in the gutter.
After a terrible last map in the semi-final, Cadian is totally back right now. He was sitting at like 35 ADR on Vertigo in that semi-final, and now here on Train, he's just been started up. Like, he is running on all cylinders right now.
Well, can't say I'm overly surprised with an AWPer being a little bit more comfortable on Train. It does
what are you saying, that Vertigo isn't a good map for AWPers?
Or just at all. But
I like your talk.
But yeah, Cadian definitely here to play in this grand final. Currently 12-3. It's actually Snappy, who is one of the best performers throughout the tournament so far for Heroic, who's had a bit of a slow start. Keto's still doing Keto things. I don't think there's any surprises there. With a 5-5 scoreline, it's not a bad scenario for Sprout at the moment. They've already got what I would say is the minimum you hope for when it comes to a T side of Train. But considering this is their map choice, I do expect a little bit more.
Yeah, I expect them to get like 6-7 rounds on this T side on Train, and they definitely have the potential to do so. I think it's all down to how Heroic plays it from now on out. That, like, the grand final has started, everyone's kind of in the game now, there's no real surprises left. And then 2 guys drop down. As I say that, of course.
Oh yeah, S-Tag definitely met by a surprise. That's actually going to be the SG return to the Ts. Of course, none of them with any Kevlar, but again, this is a round that's all about damage. That's one thing they've done very well, is limiting the economy of Heroic, and especially considering we've seen them want to go towards a double AWP setup on Stown. Yeah. If they can reduce that, if they can make things that little bit easier for them when it comes to the T side, that's going to be perfect. That's one of the best ways to win a T side of Train, is just reduce the amount of money that your opponent has.
Let's see, they're going to try their best now. SG in hand to walk into this in the bomb side. Cadian does hit the frag, or at least damage on the first one. Frag on the second one. Molotov on the side, burning away the Ts. Rotation towards lower one at the end of All Train. Searson going down to the nade. All Train player will be taken out as well. Only Speedy left. 1v4, and he's not going to be able to make it.
Yeah, pretty much an impossible scenario there with just what they had in the round. But again, 2 kills, a bomb plant. I think the T side will take that all day long. Yep. They don't allow Heroic to have like crazy cash going into the future rounds, and they themselves have now built up enough money that if they want an AWP, they can have it. If they want all the extra utility, they can, alongside those trusty SGs. So all in all, not a bad round, but it does mean that Heroic on the CT side have now taken themselves the lead. But that will be expected.
This is the round where I expect Searson to come in and make a difference. He's 6-5 right now, which is okay. Hasn't really been into the game. It's been mostly Keto and Faven, in my opinion, who's been pulling everything out for Sprout. But now I need to see something for Searson, because he's an incredible player, very strong AWPer. And if Sprout should have a chance to win this grand final, he needs to be one of the star players of this game.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to be impactful on the CT side without a doubt, but on this T side, it's that little bit tougher, as we can see Cadian able to get that opener once again, but the T side have managed to get out towards the site. Rotations are coming in thick and fast from this CT side. Already 4 members of the Heroic defense. The bomb's still yet to cross the site as well, and a lot of utility already expended for the T side, so this is going to get harder and harder by the second, especially with the spam through the smoke, as Snappy goes back for a little bit more. Enables him to double up that man advantage. Searson needs to start hitting shots, and that's exactly what he does. First onto the board. Trade comes back from Cadian once again, though. He's been the lead in this story so far. The question is, can Faven and Searson hold on? The bomb ticked about halfway through. Faven falling down, manages just 1, but Searson has 3 players left to find. The first goes his way. And the bomb actually ticking quite fast now, just trying to use utility to gain that little bit of extra space. Can't quite connect the shot, though, but have they got it just about?
That was so close. Seriously, hitting that last shot, then he might have been able to pressure the bomb diffuser and the round would have gone their way. Pixels separating Sprout from another round here. Cadian and the boys communicating. And I feel like, I do agree with you, of course, the T side is harder for the AWP, but I feel that's also the sign of a really, really strong AWPer, is that he can still be impactful on the T side of a map like Train, for example. And in my opinion, the best AWPers in the world still manage to be impactful with their AWPs on the T sides of maps that aren't specifically strong for their weapon. It doesn't have to be every single round, But for example, in that situation, Susan very close to making a round happen for his team.
for sure.
And that's, in my opinion, the suit of a strong alt player.
I think it also depends on the way that the team is actually playing as well. Like if it's that sort of scenario where the bomb's down and he's able to hold angles and wait for players to push in, then I expect him to be hitting the shots. It's just if things aren't working too well on your entries, which luckily for them so far they have been, then it gets really difficult for the AWP because it's almost like, right, we're going to wait for the first 45 seconds and you're going to get a kill, and if not, we're going to lose. And that seems to happen way too often. This round, at least, good utility usage early on from Heroic.
Aggressive play, but no one's watching. What was that? He was just allowed to walk through the smoke. The round will end, of course, in Heroic's favor, but that, in my opinion, is something that we just have to talk about for a second here. I don't think they're going to pull out a timeout for it, but I think Coach Lomme is just going to come in and say, do remember to watch that, that smoke there, because that could have gone so much more wrong. Like, with the specific timing on a flashbang, that could have been so much worse.
Well, even still, Heroic now able to streak a few rounds in a row, 5 in fact, making this look like a much better scenario to what we saw on an even scoreline.
And they continue with the aggressive play. 2 guys close to Hop Dog and Main, making sure that the all-off pressure can not happen. But Susan, once again, as I said, stepping into the fray, winning another off duel, but Cadian not hitting his shots, and now it's going to be hard. This is where Sprout needs to capitalize.
It's important that Snappy found that kill, but maybe not aware of how far his opponents actually made it out. And S-Tag, I think he's going to be in real trouble here. Yeah, he knows it. Just opts to try and survive on the ladder. Faven actually has no idea.
Yep. And that's the play you can make when that Molotov falls down, is that you can jump on the ladder and play almost into the T's crosshair to survive.
The problem is, how does S-Tag actually escape here? I guess now he can make his way up the ladder because the T was so far back in the other direction. Faven is looking for the hump, but at the same time, the T's want to make sure they don't end up limiting themselves. Financially, they'll be okay going into the next round, but this weapon save could actually be quite important for Heroic.
They can afford to throw one weapon away here, Sprout, but only one. Actually, 2 players facing him, so that's maybe the correct choice there. Worst case scenario, they lose 1 player and then the refract comes in. Now orders being given, communication coming in for Heroic. It's going to be a buy, but it's not going to be the best one in the history of the world. I can tell you that. Only 1 kit as well. MP9, UMP. S-Tag with the MP9 and Pop Dog is going to be interesting.
You know, we've seen it be relatively successful so far. Spitty actually looking to lead the charge. Gaining quite a lot of space for his team. You've got to be careful that he doesn't manage to get that opening pick without any sort of response. They now know he's here. Can they do anything about it? Yes, Cadian is going to find that kill, but in the meantime, S-Tag will go down. Down again with the trade and keep things into the Danes' favor, at least for now. You almost have a standoff here. This smoke is going to be important. Both players realize it is Faven to get the kill. Favored in this scenario, but again, we just see this round go backwards and forwards. Only 2 remaining for the T's. Searson, one of them with the AWP, yet to really see too much in this round. And through the smoke they go. A 9-6 half in the favor of Heroic. Pretty standard in the end, but we'll be able to see who is going to lead the way with the pistol round as we come back after a short break. Well, it is going to be the first half going the way of Heroic, but they had to grind it out towards the end. I think it was 6 of the last 7 rounds going their way, but initially it seemed like Sprout had their number. Now they go on to the favored side. The pistol definitely going to give the momentum over to one of these teams. And well, only going to be a singular smoke in play at the moment, just pure individual aim going to be there for Heroic.
Looks like they're going to go for their A execute with pressure on Ivy. Snappy's going to jump out here towards the Olaf position, going to cause a lot of confusion, and then the pressure comes onto Faven. The push comes through, but Bob has found 2 entries. Snappy actually stealing one away, and it's a 2v2.
Yeah, important kills coming in from Snappy. Spitty, I think he just about spotted Cadian, should be able to get the free kill on the around. The Cadian snaps back, takes the head off one. Can he do it one more time? No, he can't. Searson is going to put both of them down in the end. That is going to be the pistol going the way of Sprout. They get that early momentum into this second half, and I wonder what sort of force-up we're going to see coming out of the T side.
Probably not a lot. That is insane. That is inhuman. Gonna see the standard pistols. Cadian saving 1250 for the AWP, as one would expect.
Look at the purchase for the CT side as well, though. This is one where I think they're expecting maybe the buy into the next round rather than here, so some risks taken. There's some potential. Obviously, it means that you can't drop a rifle over to the other side, but it also means, in terms of the range battle, I'd almost favor the T.
Mid to long range, apart from that scout, the Deagle is better, in my opinion. Close range, the MP9, there's no match, but... See, Spitty and Searson together, safe and sound.
They've still managed to kill at least. They're going to go running down the side of the train. Still need to get that bomb down.
Oh no. Oh no, Tom. Cadian is tilted here because the server actually crashed, I think. And now the question becomes, because there's already been damage dealt within this round, how do we handle the reset? It's very, very easy when no damage has been done. If it has only been like a couple of flashbangs and nades and positions thrown, then we just restart. But we are literally in the middle of an execute towards the B bomb site when the server crashes here.
Yeah, and especially because I can guess why Cadian is so frustrated, because recreating a round like that is actually going to be fairly difficult.
Yeah.
Because they are just playing with the pistols. They managed to get 2 entries. The bomb was about to be planted as well. So that was a position where they actually had a fairly good opportunity to win the round. So
yeah, like this probably played out as best as it could for Heroic. As you said, entries and the bomb going down. We're going to have to wait and see what the play is and how this will be reset. Always an interesting one when stuff like this happens in every esports title. All the nice people coming out for some Counter-Strike. Good to see. Hope you're all having a fantastic day in the crowd. See the Sprout guys in the front row enjoying themselves. Cadian in the picture now has to refocus and gather his thoughts coming into this round here.
yeah, this is one of the ones where it is basically just going to be down to what is said in the rules, which I'll be honest, that's not my job to know.
You haven't read the 67-page DreamHack rule set for Cisco?
No. Because I probably would, if I don't read it, then I can't, then if I break any of the rules, it's not my fault.
That's not how it works, Tom. That's not how any of this works. I didn't read the law, so I just don't have to abide by it.
Yeah, I feel like that's a fair...
No. I'm gonna hit you with a no. Lawyered.
It's been working for me so far. I've lasted 25 years. And maybe
that is more than people would have expected for a guy.
Maybe that's how many I'll get. How many years I'll get at the end of it all.
I hope you get at least 25 more.
Then again, 25 to life, I would have had to do something pretty serious.
Do they even have that in the UK?
I'm fairly sure, but then again, I don't read the laws. So.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
You're asking the wrong person.
Waiting, of course, for the server reset. We can see Sprout players not even in the game right now, so this is going to take a little while, I guess a couple of minutes, but we will be back as quickly as the server can get reset. Of course, the the hero guys here just talking a little bit, just having fun, just making sure that spirits are still high. Get a little stretch going.
I'm always interested to see if they go for, like, do they have to go for the exact same buy again, or could they be a little bit cheeky?
I don't have any idea.
So wait, you haven't read the rules either?
I haven't read the rules.
You throw me under the bus.
Yeah, of course.
But then you have not done it either.
No.
Then again, I feel like if you break the rules in Denmark, you're in far more trouble. I feel like.
Not really though.
Whereas me in Kiev, I'll probably be all right.
I think it's the other way around. I haven't seen a prison in Ukraine, but I would imagine it's a lot worse than the one in Denmark. That's just an idea I have.
I don't know. Maybe that's something I'll look into just in case.
These guys trying to look into how to get the game going again. Seems like everyone's just getting refocused, so probably not too far away now.
It seems like the color change. I was about to say it looked like Dennis was very much on brand, as even his keyboard was glowing green at the time, but it has now changed, so.
You also just typed in an IP, so we're good to go. In a few
Did you catch what it was?
No, it was a Control C, Control V type of deal.
I was hoping that I could get a UK player into the final.
Nah, no, it's not going to happen.
It didn't go too well earlier, but we are back in. It is going to be a complete restart of the round, so and a change of strategy as well from Heroic, of course, not wanting to just try the same thing again. It is going to be tough to attempt to recreate the success they had at the beginning of the previous round. And actually, we do have a change of buys.
Yeah.
See, that's something that's quite interesting to me, because like now going in for the rifles, knowing that there's going to be a purchase here, it just seems a bit off, but you know. Well, those rifles actually doing a fair amount of work. Spitty already able to pick off one. It does mean that Stound's been able to retrieve one, but so low on HP, he's going to go for the trusty Deeg instead, and I don't really blame him. I'm on Cadian now. Again, having that money saved for the AWP is just going to attempt to try and do as much damage as humanly possible.
And now it's very important when this round ends and the next one begins that the Heroic guys, they don't get tilted over this, because this is obviously something they're not happy with, but like the rules are the rules, so that's how it is. But they have to kind of like shove that feeling away and just focus on the round coming up. And they're usually pretty good at that. They're usually pretty good at focusing in on the task at hand, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. But for lower tier teams who struggle with the mental, capacities of this game, like that could have been tilting them completely.
Oh yeah, it would have tilted me off the face of the earth, but then again, I am from England, so
doesn't need a lot to be done.
It's in my blood, you know, the tilt.
Faven starting off nicely here. Holding down the position, doesn't get any frags, but making sure that no one can come through. Stound just has to duel with a Deagle, and the rotation has come in. Keto with 2 frags already. Is looking very nice for Sprout.
Yeah, and basically an opportunity to just build up some money. They're still losing a player or two, though, every single round, and well, we know that going into the next one, there is going to be an AWP available for Cadian. Utility on the majority of players as well, so they can't even really afford to lose another player in this round. I think they need to keep it clean. Of course, if it is one of the Famises that goes down, it's a good chance to actually upgrade it to a better gun, but...
Yeah, and, well, the only other CT weapon that was in this round was the MP9 that Snappy has picked up, so... They just want to survive with as many players as possible at this point, Sprout, to make sure they have full utility coming for the next round, because they will need it.
Well, they've guessed correctly with 2 players ready and waiting. Pearson already going to pick off one, and that'll be a nice finish to the round. Keeping 4 players alive, building up some extra cash if things do go wrong in the next round, which it's going to be one of the tougher rounds for them with the 2 Famises in play, of course.
Yeah.
Facing off against those SGs, you're already at a disadvantage with the M4 anyway.
I think they're going to do 2 SGs this round for Heroic. Let's wait and see.
But again, looking at the scoreboard, Keto, 20 kills, 99 ADR, Cadian 19 kills and 8, and then I think the next highest is going to be Faven with 14. So Couple of players leading the way at the moment.
That's the thing, like with Sprout, it is always keto leading the charge. It actually will be the 3 SG round here for them. That means that they're gonna lack in flashes and one Molotov and S-Attack going for the SG instead of the AK-47. Interesting choice. We'll see how it plays out. Usually their 8 default includes Snappy standing in the back line, ready with the smokes, and then 3 players pushing out of A main, and it will be the double opening on the back of this flashbang coming in from Snappy. This is exactly what they want with this default.
Good start to the round. Faven only going to be able to trade one back. Actually, doing well with the AWP. He's found his third in this round. Into a 2v2 we go. Spitty still lurking around the side. Both players here. Now the bomb could try and double back into the B side, which seems to be the option at the moment for Stown. Cadian's actually been able to get out there and go for the full rotation. This is perfect. The CT side is still completely unaware that their opponents have left, and when the realization comes in, the bomb's already going to be going down, and the setup can be in. Molotov even going to deny that little bit of extra time for Spitty. And Faven's actually the one with all of the utility, but coming in from behind, he can't really afford to use any of it. And
Cadian's going to lock him down.
Yeah, so well placed. Another kill for the AWPer, leaving Spitty alone, and in reality, this might just have to be the call for the save.
Wasn't there an SG on the ground that he could have picked up there?
I guess he doesn't know how close they are, so maybe a little bit wary for the sound cues. Bomb tick so far gone. Maybe going to try something a little bit sneaky. Actually gets the kill onto Cadian, so that's an AWP onto the floor and one retrieved at least. So again, making things costly for the T side, and now that they've finally got themselves around onto the board, they won't have as much money coming in either, so the chance for a rebuy of one's actually fairly slim.
Once again, for like newer fans and newer viewers coming in watching Heroic, this is one of their defaults, and you're going to see a lot from the T side when they have these full buys, where Snappy stands in the back line to your left there at the train spot here. We see it again this round. He's going to be the one throwing flashbangs. He's going to be the one throwing smokes, and then these players in T main are going to try and open up. It's going to be led by Borb and Stown, the entry fraggers, and then S-Attack coming in to help. And we see the exact same default again. Molotov's landing in. Stop side player taken out. Perfect spam to the smoke almost for Borb. And now it's up to Sprout to kind of answer back. Keto has to do something now. He's the best player in this scenario. Has to step up huge.
For Rob, that's almost 2 rounds in a row with a double entry. And well, eventually they'll get the second as well. Keto from above. As you mentioned, he's sort of the man that needs to try and make a play here. Waiting for the famous down, just decapitates him. Leaves the 2 AWPers remaining. They almost have to just try and save her, especially once the bomb goes down. I don't think there's anything they can really do. It's looking like they're going for the classic, let's just try and get a kill and leave, but after overstaying their welcome, they're going to try to escape, but with so many players remaining on the T side, I imagine they're going to try and hunt these guns down.
Yeah. They can definitely afford to let 1 or 2 weapons hunt this. The question is now, with Sprout not potentially in this next round, but in the next buy, what will they do CT-wise? Will they stack 4 players towards A? Let's see, Faven being pressured heavily. Same as Thurston. Are they going to take both weapons out? They're going to run through the smoke, but 1 weapon thrown away for the price of 2 AWPs. That's fine.
Yeah, no, this sends the money packing all the way back to the Stone Ages for Sprout. They're going to have nothing going into the next round, and this shot was sick. Just an instant 1-tap onto Keto. Good round coming out from Stown, but also Barup not only getting the entry frag once again, which he seems to be pretty damn consistent with. I said it yesterday as well. When the player you have entry fragging is performing well, it's very difficult to lose a match on that T side.
Oh, for sure.
This round, of course, as I said, there's absolutely nothing there, and while it's been read by the T side, Stown going to get the kill onto Keto as well.
It's actually interesting. Like, Heroic are running into the stack and they don't care. Usually that should be like, most teams would be, okay, there's someone here, we should probably go towards B. But they're just going to run through it. Stown just getting Mac 10 kills left, right, and center. And this is the round that I was talking about. This is where it becomes interesting. Because how do Sprout react in these buys when 2 rounds in a row it has been the 8 default explosion onto this A bomb side for Heroic? What does Sprout do then? And I like that they take a timeout because they just need to talk this over. are we going to play that 1-4, one player B, 4 players towards that A bomb side to kind of be ready for the quick outside control coming from the T side? And that's where I think Heroic and Lome and Snappy will think, okay, they're taking a timeout here. They're thinking about this. We're just going to rush straight B.
But that's the thing, though, dude. Like, either way, you can sort of try and mind game them in a sense of like, okay, are they going to do that again? And then just do the same thing, just go running into the A site again.
Exactly.
I wonder if there's going to be most of the utility expended early on, because Sprout, that's something they do have missing. Like, they don't have the incendiaries to just throw into T main early in the round to just basically stop the T's from doing it, but instead...
This is looking like they're one of their other A defaults so far. Just making a little bit of noise inside, having one player to make sure they can't really push lower. And then in like 10, 20 seconds, we're going to see pressure on Ivy. Then one player dropping down, maybe even 2 players dropping down towards the Pop Dog. And then the execute outside. Keto forced away here.
Oh. They may have even heard that. Now, early into the round, they baited out a lot of the utility. Only one smoke remaining. T's getting ready to set up their execute. They've still got Stown on the MAC-10 as well, so he can just be used as a bit of a distraction, just go barreling in, still making sure that there's no aggression over towards the B side, and they do have the option to switch.
Yeah, exactly. They can go for the B play right now. They could go for the fake outside B play right now. Because they also have a player in the backline that's Stown who can, as you said, just running, make a lot of noise. Smoke's coming in from Borup in that position. Watch the bomb right now. The bomb is in the back of best attack. What does he do? They're gonna go back. That's the call. That's the mid-round call to go back to A.
Such a risk. Almost both kills going the way of Acadian. He survives on 1 HP, and that 1 HP is going to make all the difference. The bomb won't be stuck in the Pop Dog, one of the worst positions. But even still, there's a possibility here. A kit on Spiddy, but not much utility. They need a quick kill. They need somebody to find a frag. It's Searson who needs to be the one to do it, and Stown just playing up close, waiting for anybody to round that corner. Spiddy taking a long time to make his way through, and they don't have a smoke for the bomb or anything, so it just has to be the firefights won, and unfortunately for them, Stown is going to make that MAC-10 work. A second kill for him in this round, and Spiddy has no choice but to try and save.
And that's the power of like a good organization in the team. Like, you can make mid-round calls like that, like what, on 2-3 seconds they turn the whole thing around on the information based of Stown on that old bomb train position.
I do have to say, though, like, Keto, that is the unluckiest thing ever. Because if he gets that kill, I almost guarantee the Sprout win the round. Because having the bomb dropped in Pop is just horrific to get it back. There was still time for them to attempt to retrieve it, but obviously he'd still be alive to hold on to it. They'd have to still deal with the players within the site, which wouldn't have been anywhere near as easy.
It would have been like a close round, I think. There would definitely been a chance for Sprout to win that, but that's the thing, right? When you sacrifice 2 players going down Pop, you almost, you have to think about the possibility of both of them dying, but the push comes in, and there's the quick B play now for T-side.
Yeah, they finally threw it in. The one weapon on Spiddy is gone, and this round is already done.
It's an round, but still, I like the fact that they're just changing the pace constantly.
Oh, and it's been working for them. This will be their 5th T-side round in a row. But it's only been the first 3 that the CT side have managed to win. Their buys have not been working at all for them. And just look at the cash that's now there for Heroic. This map really is leaning in their favor now.
We need to see something more from, I feel like Faven, he is so talented. Searson, of course, also very good, but having a fine game. Keto, always having a fine game. But Fabian, I feel like if we had to pick someone out who's underperforming a little bit now, it should be him, because he is so incredibly good. Dennis and Speedy, of course, in roles that are hard to get frags. I feel like Fabian is the one, like, if he can step it up 15%, 20% more, this is going to be like a 15-15 game super close. But if he doesn't, then Heroic are going to run away with it.
Yeah, the problem I find as well, though, is that if you look at, say, the top 3 of each side, they're performing roughly the same. The difference is that the 4th player is someone like Estratag, who's actually had some highly impactful plays within this map so far, so it's tough. Like, that's the depth that Heroic seem to have. Even Snappy at the bottom at the moment has started to step up. Cadian, once again, is going to be there to get that opener off the back of the AWP, leading the server in frags. 25 kills for him. As said earlier, it was a little bit underwhelming in their victory.
But then again, he also had, like, he tweeted out he was having like headaches and migraines and stuff. So
we're not here for excuses. He's playing fantastically well now.
He got all the American drugs now. I don't know what they're called, but they're all helping.
Well, whatever it is, it's working. Dennis going to be trying to take some map control away. With losing that early man advantage, they have to try and take some risks here. They can't allow the T side to have all of this map control.
Once again, default the same as we've seen before. For Heroic, this time around, the counter to this is actually really well thought out, in my opinion. They have pushed one player almost in the inner workings of the T main, Fabian holding towards the back line. Smoked out, anti-flash moves in. Citizen taking the brunt of the damage. And the T side, they're just completely walking through Ivy. There's no focus anywhere else on the map.
A lot of time left, but they are going to be able to get that bomb on towards the site. Faven, he gets caught by the smoke fading. Cadian doubles up, and Dennis.
It's so unfortunate because the play that Sprout were trying to make is that we're going to get Dennis into T main because they've run a lot of their stuff through T main so far, the T defaults. So if we can get Dennis into the T main position and push him so far in that he'll be able to get one frag, go back, hold another position, get one frag, rotate back to the bomb side, that's perfect. But what Heroic do, they don't even know that he's in T main. Let's see if Dennis can get one here. They don't even know he's there, but they still go for the ramp focus, not the ramp focus, the Ivy focus. 3 men through Ivy, and then they can just wrap the entire bomb side. So I feel like what Sprout tried to do was really nice. It just didn't work out based on the call that came out from the T side.
Well, it's now 6 rounds in a row on the T side of Train for Heroic. It would need to be a little bit less than that, 5 in a row. Well, no, actually, no, never mind. My maths is awful. 6 in a row would be needed by the CT side if they are going to be just getting back into this one.
Math is hard, Tom. That's just how it is for all of us.
Not for Rich, of course.
Oh, no.
With his massive IQ.
+5 IQ for the glasses, of course.
But here we go. This is going to be the last-ditch effort for the CT side. The buy is not a good one. They've got a Deagle in there, a Scout, an MP9, and even the mighty FAMAS to try and hold on here.
They're trying to push aggressively on Ivy. Star just shutting that down. And it seems like Sprout are always 1 round behind with the right answer. And that's so frustrating because you kind of feel like you know what you need to do against Heroic, but you just miss the timing every single time. And I think their answers and their ideas are correct, but they're just not hitting it right now.
Spitty once again is going to go down. This is looking like the beginning of the end as the CT side with limited weaponry are going to have to try and take this B site back. It almost looked like they were falling into a save there, but they can't save their weapons in this scenario. This is the last round, and well, definitely looking like it as Dennis and Searson are going to try and get back in. Dennis is going to go down. It's all left onto Searson. A 1v4 to try and save them in their map choice. He just doesn't have the time. He at least gets the first, but that will be all. Heroic, a 16-9. They will take themselves the first map and lead their way into their choice in this grand final. Just 1 more needed, and the trophy is theirs.
Cadian trying to hype up the crowd as well as he tried in Rotterdam. The fans are definitely there. The guy with the Cadian sign traveling all the way. Are we going to see if they can make it happen in a 2-0 fashion, or are we going to have to go all the way to Nuke? Both are possible. Heroic, such a great team.
That's the thing as well, though. If you do look at Inferno for Sprout, it's their most played map. Like, it is one that they like to play. This series is definitely not over just yet. Like, going into Train, of course, like, we see the amount of maps more that Sprout have played. We did expect them to at least bring it closer. Their CT side, I don't even think they won a buy round, which is pretty terrifying when you go into your opponent's map choice.
And also, again, I feel like Sprout actually, like, a lot of the stuff strategically they try to do, all of their tactical answers to what Heroic are doing, that was correct. I feel like the work that the coach did and the in-game leader did on the Sprout side was really good. But we're going to have someone even more qualified to talk about that. We have the desk coming up.
Definitely not me, but definitely these two folks, as Pimp will remind all of us time and time again. Pimp, what jumped off the page to you, though? A pretty great start for Heroic.
Yeah, but it was a back and forth game, I felt in the beginning. I think Heroic wasn't really in control over that one. I think it could have panned out way differently had Sprout really taken opportunity or taken, advantage of the opportunities. I think Heroic got off that on the T side, but it's like we've seen so far in this tournament. Heroic started off a little bit flat, but when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, when it gets to that T side, actually, they seem to be just so much better than everyone else. We saw it on Vertigo, in the semifinal. We saw it the first day as well when they were playing Train. So Heroic right now is the team that, even though that I would say they're not playing up to their best, they're still good enough to beat dare I say, lackluster Sprout in this game.
I have to disagree. I think Heroic are playing very optimally at the moment. Just thinking back on this Train match, they lost both pistols. They lost both second round forced buys. And even in that T-side round, there was a pause, a technical error. They had to reset. In that scenario, Heroic were up in a 3 versus 3 in the inner bomb site in very forward positions. These kinds of little gimmicks that kind of put Heroic back, it can tilt them, but they were able to overcome that. They were able to make it happen, and they won every single round that mattered. When you lose both pistols and you still end up winning the match 16-9, things went really well for you.
I think when we actually look at this, though, it's really important to note, both of you guys are saying whether you think they're having a fantastic performance or if you think that they're having a lackluster performance for them, both people on the desk think that they are doing enough to be able to take down Sprout here.
Ultimately, yeah.
Ultimately, yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? Because I will agree with you in the sense that they did lose both pistol rounds and they still were able to win 16-9, but they put themselves in a position where had Sprout taken advantage of those opportunities, had they actually, capitalized of the chances they were given by Heroic, then this game could have turned out differently. It could have been much closer. Problem is, Sprout weren't able to do that, and that's why Heroic looks so good.
Yeah, and I think you can put the onus in either ballpark, but we can actually decide now and dive in a little bit deeper and actually take a look at some of the gameplay.
Exactly. Now, Jacob did mention a little bit, Sprout had a really good start off right in the beginning of this match, and that's not something we're quite used to seeing with Sprout. They said they usually grind things back, but this was a round I wanted to highlight for Sprout players. I think Faven and Keto had really nice heads-up play. This is going to look like a straight posturing towards this Brown Hall. They're going to place a lot of pressure. I'm going to pause it right here. Take a look at Keto. He's got his flashbang out. It's a pretty typical flashbang to allow Faven to quickly take over Brown Halls. What ends up happening here, though, that's interesting is there's 3 defenders coming out of Heroic here. Faven makes a heads-up play. He's able to take out 2 of these members on Heroic, but the great thing is Keto's game sense, his awareness, his process of elimination, understanding where the enemies are going to be at the right time. S-Attack gets caught off with a quick flank here, and right in this moment, Sprout beeline it straight to the outside. They're able to crunch Staven here. It leaves Cadian in an awkward, sticky situation, and just the quick reactions, quick plays coming out of the Sprout players was really impressive to see. I think if they were able to carry through that, and as Jacob mentioned, capitalize on Heroic's mistakes, things could have turned out a little bit differently for Sprout.
Do you feel the same way? Do you really think that it can be turned around?
Yeah, I do, and I think Sprout, after being up 4-3 here on the T side on the Train, they really had Heroic where they wanted them, right? It was some close round that decided it, and as you said, Heroic did win every single round that mattered the most, and you gotta give credit to Heroic for that, but also gotta look at Sprout and think to yourself, right? If you're in a final, you're the underdog, you gotta take advantage of those chances that is basically being gifted to you.
Okay, all right. We have a lot to think about, but potentially only one more map. We're going to be jumping to a quick break, and when we return, we might be coming back to crown our champions for DreamHack Open.